Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sunday School. I'm Miss Marianne. I hope you guys are all doing really well. We are in the fourth week of Advent. We are so close to Christmas. And Advent is the time when we are getting ready for Christmas. Christmas is a big deal, and we need a lot of time to get ready. And there's a lot of things to do with Christmas. I'm sure in your house there's lots of things to get ready with decorating and baking and things like that. But we also want to take time to remember what the season means, and that's what we do here in church. So for Advent for us is helping everyone to remember what Christmas is really about and get ready in those ways. So I hope you are finding some fun things to do for Christmas, but also finding some ways to remember. So I wonder if you have an Advent calendar. That was one of my favorite things when I was a kid. My grandmother got me an Advent calendar every year. And that was one of my favorite things, was to go down in the morning and open that door the month before Christmas. And I wonder what kind of Advent calendar you have at your house. In the church, we have a special kind of Advent calendar, an Advent wreath that we use to help count down the time for Christmas and to help us get ready by reminding us some things we need to remember. So this is the Advent wreath that I made for my house. It's a little DIY. So it's not exactly a wreath, but it worked for me. Usually we use a wreath because a wreath is round. Mine isn't quite, but it does at least have some circles on it, so hopefully that'll help. But we use a wreath that is round because that's a circle, and a circle has no beginning and no end, so that reminds us that God's love has no end. And we use evergreens on the Advent wreath because they stay green. So in this time of the year when things can look dead outside, all the leaves are gone and it can look kind of dead, those evergreens are there to remind us that life is still out there and that things will be reborn again. Spring will come. So we use that to help us. The Advent wreath uses candles. We use one candle each week. We'll light one week, and then the next week we light that one and the next one. And we use candles because they give us light in darkness and help remind us that Jesus is the light of the world. The candles each represent both a feeling and a part of the Christmas story. And we talked in the past few weeks about those parts of the Christmas story. We're going to talk a little bit more about those feelings that they represent today. In our church, we use blue candles because blue is the color we use for Advent, because blue is the color of hope. You'll also notice we have blue on our altar here underneath the Holy Family. We have blue. If we were in church, you would see lots of blue things because blue is the color of hope. So we use that for Advent. Some churches use purple, and you will see some churches will use purple candles. Some will also have a pink candle for the third week. But in our church, we just use 4 blue candles. But in the center, no matter what other candles are, there will be a white candle, and that is the Christ candle. You will know in church that we light a Christ candle every week when we're doing our prayers. But we are in Advent where we are waiting for Christ to be born. So we have to take a pause on lighting the Christ candle because we're waiting for Christ to come. And we light the other ones instead. Let's go ahead and light these candles. I'm going to light them in a special way to talk about those feelings. So we like to do the feelings to help remind us to focus on these things during the week. So the first week of Advent is the hope candle because we are waiting in hope, waiting for that baby that will change everything. So I'm going to light it. And as I do so, I'm going to say, lit by the candle of hope. And you can join with me if you want. Lit by the candle of hope. There you go. On the second week of Advent, we light the candle of peace, because of course we're always hoping for peace. I will light this candle, and I'm going to say, lit by the candle of peace, and you can say that with me. Lit by the candle of peace. On the third week of Advent, we light the joy candle. Because joy, that is what we want this season, isn't it? Joy. I will light this candle, and I'm going to say, lit by the candle of joy. Lit by the candle of joy. This Sunday, today, the fourth week of Advent, we light the love candle. When Jesus was born, the angels filled the sky with happiness and love. We give thanks for all of our wonderful blessings and for the gift of love. Help us, dear Lord, to be messengers, God's messengers, to spread hope and peace and joy and love. Let's say, lit by the candle of love. There we go. Doesn't that look nice with all those candles lit? We're so close. So soon. Move this out of the way. So, today, as you know, in Sunday school, if you've been in Sunday school, on our altar, we always have the Holy Family. And we're going to tell that story today because it seems like a good time to. You ready? It starts with a baby, the Christ child, whose arms are wide open to give you a hug. Here is the mother, Mary, and here is the father, Joseph. They had both been visited by angels who told them that they would have a very special baby, God's special son. And then, when Mary was very close to having that baby, they had to go to Bethlehem. When you are very close to having a baby and rather large, it is hard to walk. So they had a donkey. And Mary would walk as far as she could, and then she would ride the donkey. But when you are very close to having a baby, it is also very hard to ride a donkey. So she would walk as far as she could, and then she'd ride the donkey, and then she'd get down and she'd walk some more. They must have been the very last people into Bethlehem that night. Here is the cow that was so surprised, maybe the most surprised of all, to find a baby where its feed was supposed to be that morning. Here is the shepherd. We just have one shepherd. There might have been more. We just have one to remind us. And I have 2 sheep. There probably were more, but I just have 2 to help us remember. The shepherds were in their field, just tending their sheep as they do. And suddenly there was a bright light, the type that they had never seen before, just something spectacular and amazing, and they were terrified. And then they realized that there was sound coming from that light, and it was telling them to not be afraid. Angels often have to tell people to not be afraid because it is very scary to have God's messengers talk to you. And it was telling them that there would be peace on earth and goodwill to everyone. And it told them to go to Bethlehem, and you will find a baby that will change everything. And they went, they listened. It's amazing. Here are the Magi, the wise men. Sometimes you'll hear them called the kings, but they weren't really kings. They were more like scientists of the time. They were wise men who told the people important things that they needed to know. And one thing that they knew especially was stars. And one day they saw a star that was unlike any they had ever seen. It was wild and different, and they knew it meant something very important was happening. And so they followed it. And it led them to a baby in a stable. And they gave that baby gifts fit for a king: gold and frankincense and myrrh. Amazing. That baby grew up and became a man. And the man grew and lived and taught and then died, which was sad. But somehow he also is still here with us, living in each of us, with arms outstretched to give the whole world a hug. And now lives in not just that time and that place, but is still here with us today. And that is amazing in an Easter kind of way. We are in Advent, and our color is blue. But before we meet again, it will have been Christmas. So I'm going to go ahead and change our parament to white, because white is the color of celebration. So we use that for Christmas. Here are the wise men, the Magi. So smart, people thought that they were magic. Don't like my bricks. And here are the shepherds. humble shepherds who got to be part of something spectacular and amazing. Here is the donkey. Father Joseph and Mother Mary, the baby, and man, and the cow, who might have been most surprised of all. So many questions with this story, don't you think? It's an amazing story. I wonder if you've heard this story before. I wonder if you have a book that you really like that tells this story. What's your favorite version? There's so many of them. I wonder which one is your favorite. I wonder if you have a Holy Family like this in your house, a nativity. And I wonder if you're allowed to touch it. Many of us have ones in our house that no one's supposed to touch. So I wonder if you have one you can play with. I wonder which part you like the best. Do you like the baby? Do you like the shepherds? Do you like the magi? What about the cow? Which part do you like best? I wonder which part is the most important. I wonder if there's any part of the story you think we could leave out and still have all the parts that we need. I wonder. If you would like, if you don't have a Holy Family you can play with, or if you would just like another one, in the email for today, there is some cutouts that you can make your own Holy Family and color them and play with them, and you can arrange them however you want. I don't think it has the magi, but it has the other pieces to it, so you can cut that out and interact with it, and that could be a fun way to kind of celebrate this week. Let us bring back my Advent wreath so that we can change these lights. So pretty just to look at it like this. I will change this light so that the light of hope can be with you wherever you are. And I will change this light of peace and I will change this light of joy. Oh, I hope that joy finds you this week. And I will change this light of love so that God's love will find you and be with you all this week and for all time. Have a very Merry Christmas, everyone. Many, many blessings to you.